What's up, y'all? Today I wanted to go over how I managed to get my net worth to $150,000 at the age of 24. First, a little bit about myself. I'm self employed, I live with my parents, so right now I don't have to worry about the cost of living. Now let's jump into my backstory. The beginning of 2020, I decided to move out. Unfortunately, I moved out the same week COVID started, and I took a big hit to my business. So I went from a 19-year-old who just moved out to some broke kid surviving off of Ritz crackers and peanut butter for dinner. I was scraping by on barely $1,000 a month back then. And before I had moved out, I had $2,000 invested. I knew nothing about the stock market. I had to Google how to buy stocks. But I knew investing in quality companies would pay off in the long run. So I spent 1,000 on Apple stock and 1,000 on Tesla stock. Now, this was about a few months, maybe a year before Tesla's stock split in 2020. That $1,000 I put in there turned into roughly 10,000 within the blink of an eye. That's when I realized what the stock market can really do. Let's fast forward to 2022. By now, I had moved back in with my parents. I'm 22, and I decided it's time to grow up. I stopped going to the bar, I stopped hanging out with drunk ass losers, and I began to focus more on my business and investing. This is around the time I discovered financial YouTube, and I really dove into the market. My net worth was roughly 25K around this time. During 2023, I really locked in, and I invested as much as I could. I also spent this year learning how to trade options. I gave it a shot, but I decided it wasn't for me. I reached about 50K by the end of the year. 2024, I invested aggressively. I started to invest in gold as well. This year, I have formed my strategy for long term gains, and I started to learn chart patterns and how to make predictions. 2024 also saw a huge bull market for the stocks and for gold. So I was riding the wave on the stocks, and I decided to reallocate all my future investments on gold. I predicted gold was going to break $3,000. I was correct. So before it hit 2,900, I bought as much as I could. By the end of 2024, I was sitting on roughly $110,000. This huge jump was due to capital gains during November. Right now, today, July 2025, I'm sitting on $150,000. So you're probably sitting there wondering, like, how did I invest that much each year? Well, I keep costs low. Like I said, I moved back in with my parents, so I don't have to pay rent right now. I don't eat out a lot. I don't spend money on overpriced things like going to the bar. I cut drinking completely out of my life. Uh, I understand it's not legal everywhere, but I grow my own flower, so I don't have to spend money on that. I always tend to find a cheaper option for something, even if it takes a little while, like waiting for a sale on a game or waiting for my local store to get a used copy. I know it sounds boring, but I really spend most of my time at home just playing video games, exercising, or taking calls from my business. If you want to be financially free, though, you really gotta lock in, and the best time to do it is in your 20s. Don't get caught up in the clubs and the bars. Personally, I've been outside since I was like 14 or 15, so by the time I turned 21, it kind of just felt trashy, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, enough about my backstory. Let's talk numbers. In my IRA, I have about 900 bucks. I'm currently switching from a Roth to a traditional IRA because most of my investments are taxable, so the Roth isn't really going to make a difference. I'd rather lower my current tax rate right now than worry about some small chunk that the Roth is going to be tax free, you know what I mean? So crypto, I own around 5,000 in Bitcoin. I have about 10 bands in a high yield savings account. I'm waiting for the tariff pause to end next week, and I'm gonna hopefully catch some dips. If not, I'll just stick to my dollar cost average methods. My precious metal portfolio is mainly gold. It's about 2,500 in silver, and it totals at 33,000. And last but definitely not least, my stock portfolio, which is sitting at a rough $105,000. Now, when I say all of these numbers, keep in mind the amount of capital gains I've accrued over the years. And if you add up the number I actually spent on my investments, it's going to be significantly less than 150K. This is why you have to start early. I wish I started back in high school. Imagine what my account would look like if I had squeezed a couple extra thousand 10 years ago. If you got an extra $20, don't blow it on food. Go buy some stocks. And keep in mind, I didn't do this making crazy gambles on options or betting on penny stocks. None of that. This is real, slow, and consistent growth. I put my money into blue chips, and this is what came of it. The more you invest, the more it returns. So just stack it up and watch it blow.